I'm Youngster 1970, and today I'm going to be working on a couple issues that I have with the 07 Vstar 1300. There is a leak coming from the bottom of the engine, and to fix that leak I've got to pull out a pin, or I don't know if they call it a dipstick or whatever. There's two bolts in the bottom that hold a pin in place that goes up through the water pump, and to be able to replace that I have to drain the oil. So to do this I've got an oil filter. This is a genuine Yamaha oil filter, part number 5DM13440.00. I've got this oil pressure switch that I'm going to be replacing while I'm in there. That is YAM0J1E or X001-Y001. This is the OEM parts oil level gauge assembly. I don't think it's really a gauge assembly, but anyways. And I've got these two O-rings. Part number 93210-06667 and 93210-15639. Let's get started. First thing I'm going to be doing is removing the seat, and to do that, just take the key, turn it counterclockwise, lift up on the seat. And then slide that up, forward, and out of the way. And to get to the tank, we have two bolts. We have a bolt here. I think I can take those out and then slide the tank back. There might be something out. I think I have to take this off also. These bolts are 12 millimeter. There's a connector up in here I can't get to. I think that's why I had to remove this. I think they are a 10 millimeter. Let me get that. I'll be right back. These are a 10 millimeter. Now, I'm slide this out of the way. Now I think I can get into the connector, and if I need to remove the fuel tank, I can get into the hoses here. See if it'll slide back. Yeah, as I thought, it will slide back. I'm going to try to get into what I need to without taking the tank completely off, because there's two lines up underneath the tank that are a pain to get to. So I'm going to see if I can get this front cover off and access what I need to there. There is a clip right here. It needs to come out, and hopefully it's going to work for me. It's loose. Okay, that came out. Let's go to the other side and do the same thing. Right here is our other fastener. It needs to come out. I'm using a Phillips head screwdriver on it. The fastener out. Of course it rolls away. Now this piece here should come off. It'll get me into the wiring that I need to get into. I have to check check on the other side. That might be where I need to access it. I'm gonna just take this fuel tank off, and to get into it, I gotta pull this off. And I forgot there's a bolt down here that I gotta remove. There's a 5mm button head bolt down here that needs to be removed to be able to get this off. Slide that out of the way. You can see the top just pushes right into here. Up underneath the tank is a fuel shutoff. Just fun to get into. And there should be there's the fuel line. So I gotta disconnect this one here. First you gotta turn it off. Don't forget to turn it back on. And there are 2 lines up in here, which are fun to get to. I think I need a pair of needle nose pliers. I think. Or did I get them out with my hand before? I think just reached my hand up in there last time. Maybe not. Let me get a pair of pliers. Using a pair of duck bill pliers. Remove the fuel line here. Hopefully I can just slide it off, but I seem to remember that it's not going to be that easy. That's a return. And there we go. Whoa! Is it going to keep leaking? Oh, good. Stop. And then the other one is back on top of the tank, or the primary tank. This is a secondary tank. So I'm going to remove that. Maybe. Got this tool. This thing saved me a couple of times. Maybe it will this time also. Try straight blade screwdriver and see if I can get it pushed up in there. Oh, let me get this some PB. Okay, work this loose. A little bit of gas coming out of there, not too bad. Unplug this wire, that's for your fuel pump. No, that's not for a fuel pump. It's for your fuel gauge, I think. No? What is that for? I forget. Something in the tank. That should be it. Yeah, I think it's for the fuel gauge. Low fuel gauge. Okay, now that I have that off, I can get into everything better. I didn't want to have to take that tank off because it's a pain in the ass, but it's off. Get into that wire. For the oil pressures or level switch. While I'm in here, I'm going to take disconnect the negative. That should be a 10 millimeter. Move that out of the way. The wires for the oil level sensor, which they go right up through here. I think next I'm going to drain the oil. The oil drain plug is right here, and that is held on with a 17 millimeter bolt. Shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, looks pretty dark. I don't think this has that many miles on it. I think I will probably remove the oil pressure or oil level sensor. Replace that while I'm over here, because the other one is right back there. So I'm going to let this drain for a little bit and then probably clean up that area a little bit and then take those bolts out. See, I've got one of the bolts out already. They're held in with the 8 millimeter. Takes an 8 millimeter socket to get them out. So I'm going to remove this other one and then hopefully just wiggle that out and the whole thing will come out with any issues. There's our old sensor. I used this tool here, pried down the corner and got it out. Seems to be okay. Still moves. But I'm going to go and clean that area up in there. And then I'll have to trace where this goes. So I'm just kind of hanging up in there. Okay. Goes up and around there. If I take the new one and just trace it, follow the path up through. So let me get that cleaned up, get that new one up in there, and then I'll be back. I've gone and oiled up this O-ring. Just put some oil on it, and I'm going to slide this back up in. I've got the bolts here, got Loctite on them. I'm going to install them after I get this put back up in and torque them to 89 inch-pounds or 10 Newton meters. Well, I tightened them up to 70 inch-pounds. 89 seemed a little tight. So now that I have them installed, I'm going to follow the old wire back up through and connect it up on top of the engine. Okay, I routed the wire for the low oil level or the oil level switch. It comes up through here, it's held in place here with a zip tie, and then it goes up through here, back behind here, and then the connector is right up here. So now that I have that installed, everything torqued down, I'm going to go and remove the what they call the dipstick, and see how well that comes off. This is what they call the petcock. This supposedly has a pin on it that goes up into the water pump, but if I remove this, they claim, well, the reason I'm removing it is because I think it was leaking. I've heard mixed reviews that this goes up into the water pump, and if I pull this out, there will be water coming out of here, or antifreeze. Some people say no, so I guess we'll find out. These are held in place with a 5mm Allen, so let me get them taken out. Okay, here is the drain petcock. This piece of aluminum. It's 2 O-rings. There's one here and one up here. I'm going to be replacing both of them. I'll clean it up, and then, as you can see, right there is where it came out of. I'm going to clean up that area, put some grease on these replacement O-rings, and put it back up in. What's interesting about this piece is that this hole does go the whole way up through. So I could see how it'd be possible that it could leak out the bottom. I don't know if that would be a good indication that there was a bad seal or bad O-ring, but I think it was leaking. I got everything cleaned up. I'm gonna put new O-rings on it and put it back together. Installing some of this high temperature grease. This is a lithium based grease. I've been told, well, from what I read, lithium based grease are good for, or okay for O-rings. So I'm going to be putting some on there and then putting it back together. Here's our O-rings. This is the upper or lower one. 93210-15639 and 93210-06667. Okay, I've got some grease on the seals. I put some blue Loctite on the bolts. I'm going to slide it back up in there, and hopefully everything lines up without any issues. Still seeping a little bit of oil out of there. No antifreeze. So, let's see. There we go. Get our bolts started in there. I'm going to get me a 5mm Allen. I'm going to try tightening up with this once. Snug it. Because I believe these are supposed to be torqued to 89 inch-pounds, but let me confirm that. Okay, these are supposed to be tightened to 10 Newton meters or 89 inch-pounds. I am going to tighten these hopefully to 89 inch-pounds. There's 89. There's 89 inch-pounds. Okay, it seems pretty clean. Now I'm gonna take the oil drain out, make sure I don't have any antifreeze that came out along with it. Remember, I pulled that pin out. Although I think that was the low point. Yeah, it seems clean. I'm going to clean this off and then put some thread sealer on it to make sure it's not going to leak, and then I'm going to put it back together. Okay, I put some thread sealant on here. Some of this high temperature lock or Permatex part number 59214. Got this from Advanced Auto. Gonna thread her back up in there. Let me get the torque specs for that. I'll be right back. Torque specs for the oil drain bolt are 43 Newton meters or 32 foot-pounds. I'll be tightening it to 32 foot-pounds. Okay, this is a 17 millimeter socket. And there we go, 32 foot-pounds. Next I'm going to be changing the oil filter. I'm just using an oil filter wrench. Get her loose. See, this one was replaced 9/11 of 23, 40,083 miles. Let me get my replacement. Okay, currently we're at 41,271 miles, 8/18 of 24. I'm gonna clean the surface up, put a little bit of oil on here, fresh oil, and tighten up. Bring her in contact and then see if I can get a turnout of her. It should be good. It's about 3/4 of a turn. Get some of this cleaned up, get some fresh oil back in her, and then start her up and make sure we don't have any leaks. I'm going to be filling this up with this SE10W40 Yama lube. This is regular conventional oil, not synthetic. That's just what I've been putting in it since I've gotten it. This should hold about 4 quarts. Good. Oil level looks good. 3/4 of the way up. And you check this standing. upright like this. Okay, you can see the oil level at the sight glass. It is almost 3/4 of the way up. That should be plenty of oil. So now we'll go and get the bike back together. Okay, got the bike back down on the ground. Going to be going through and putting the fuel tank back on, which is always fun. You gotta put these two lines on. It's two vent lines and then the fuel line. That's the worst part of it. And then I'll put those covers back on. Got the fuel tank installed. I got the fuel turned back on. I have the petcock turned on. Got these lines on here. Fuel line up underneath there. Vacuum lines up in the front. This line here goes to the fuel level sensor. These are supposed to be tightened to 23 Newton meters or 17 foot-pounds. And I think they were a 12. Say 17 foot-pounds. There we go. This bracket goes on here. Snug them up. Reconnect the ground. At one point in time there was a strap over that. And that should be there we go. Gotta put this back on. And I need that bolt. Where did it go? There it is. I'm just gonna snug that up. Now I can get the seat on. Put the seat on. Just need to get her lined up with the back here. Push her down into place, and then that should be it. That'll do it for replacing the oil level sensor, changing the oil, replacing the O-rings on the drain petcock, changing the oil filter, filling it back up with oil, and basically reassembling on the 07 Vstar 1300 Tourer. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and stay safe. Thanks for watching.